Writing nonfiction PDF books, a great way to start. Welcome to another session of Walking with Randy, where we talk about writing, speaking, coaching and course building, marketing and marriage. This is another session on writing, talking about writing nonfiction PDF books, a great way to get started. If you've never written a book before, then you can do this. If you have a computer and you have the capability of saving your files as PDF files, you are just ready to go. Now, several years ago, people would have said you didn't have a real book if you had only a PDF. And they developed this thing called Kindle. And ebooks then increased in popularity and credibility. Some years, Amazon sells more digital books than it does print books. I don't know what the latest statistic on that is, but I remember a few years ago whenever the digital books exceeded the number of print books that were sold during that year through Amazon's platform. What that meant was that ebooks increased in popularity and credibility. In effect, they became equals. A print book was a real book, and an ebook was a real book. Well, now some people, whenever they want a book, they want what they prefer. I actually like holding a book in my hands and being able to rifle through the pages, but I have bought so many ebooks, I really like those too. But some people will want a print book, some people will want an ebook, and some people will want both. Now, in my estimation, even though I'm talking about in this video using a PDF file to get started with your book, I really think that you should have the goal to do both. Because once you have your ebook written and set up, and you've learned how to format it yourself, you just have so much of what is needed to send a file off for a print-on-demand print book, paperback book, or even a hardback book. So I think that you should have the goal of doing both. But the way to get started is simply to produce a PDF book. Now, if you have it set up only as a PDF book, your distribution will not be as wide as that as having your book also in a Kindle or Mobi or EPUB format, but you will still have a book. And it will be one, it's a real book, and it's a book that you can sell right from your own website. Many of you watching this do have your own websites, and if you do have it, then you are good to go. You can get started with your own PDF book. Now, PDF stands for Portable Document Format, and it is something that's often used to be able to send things through email because the file is not as large and it's easier to use. Well, so you can produce an 8.5 by 11 real book. That's just the easiest way to do it. Use your word processing platform, maybe Microsoft Word or, I forgot the name of the other one right now that's free that I often recommend, but whatever platform would be. You can set it up as an 8.5 by 11, and you can come up with your own cover page. Learn about and look at other books for the other pages that you put in there, copyright pages and things like that. But then you can just produce an 8.5 by 11 real book. Whenever you do it, you want to be consistent with the size You can make the title whatever size you want it to be. Of course, it would be larger than your headings or subheadings. And then you're out what size you want, and just be consistent every time you do the same type of heading. And then if you use subheadings, again, be consistent with the formatting and style of them. So the title of the whole book, and then your chapter titles, I forgot to mention that. Just be sure you're consistent with what the chapter titles look like. Once you get all that done and you're satisfied with the book, maybe you've hired an editor to look at it and go over it for you. Maybe you've had a writing group that's looked over it and given you all the input that you need, and you're satisfied and you think you have a book. Just get that cover page on there, that picture. Now you can hire someone to produce a good cover for you, but you also can do some yourself. And if this is your very first book and you're experimenting and doing it, you may want to produce your own cover. Well, whenever you do this though, you can save it as a PDF file, and then you can sell it from your own website. You can get a shopping cart of some type, or go to PayPal where you can accept payments, and then you can sell your ebook. And it's a real book, especially nowadays. So that's one way of doing it. Now that you have all that done, then go back to your word processing file that you had, and then go over to Kindle or some platform like that. Lulu.com, there are different ones. 48-hour books. Don't get any kickback for mentioning those names, but go to some of those, have your files, read their instructions, and you have what you need then to have a print book produced also. So then you would have an ebook and a print book, and you definitely would have a real book then. If you did it through KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, you certainly would have that book, those files, available on Amazon where people could find them there. Now some people say, well, that's another mark of having a real book, is whenever it is on Amazon. Well, here's a nonfiction writing tip for you. Writing nonfiction PDF books, a great way to start, especially if you're a first-time author. Now, I would encourage you, if you're watching this on YouTube, to subscribe to my channel, and you'll be able to get more tips like these. And if you're looking at it on blog post on my website, you can go to the top of the page and click on the word writing, and you will find many, many more tips. Well, I hope this has been good for you, and I hope you have a great day. I see some of my friends watching. Some of them are actually traveling a long way today, and I hope they have a safe trip. It's been good to be with you all. Until next time for another session of Walking with Randy.